First of all, talk to the audience a little bit about your background and this, how how you gained the knowledge to talk about this vital subject, and then we'll talk about the report itself.
Well, I have a background in tech. I had a tech startup in Silicon Valley, and I've been involved in tech for quite a while. Now, calling me an expert in the machines is quite gracious, but I do understand what's happening with the machines, and I work with Colonel Sean Smith, who is a systems and testing expert in computer systems, and so I've learned quite a bit about these specific machines through him. I'm also connected to Jeff O'Donnell, Walter Doherty. These are the two gentlemen who created the MESA reports based on Tina Peters' backups. And I also work with Mike Lindell on the injunction cases that he's been promoting, and with the Lindell team, the legal team as well. So I have a pretty well-rounded view of the machines and how they work. And basically, the headline here is that these voting machines are nothing more than computers. They do, they have specialized software in them, but you don't have to be an election expert to understand what's happening with these computers.
Holly Kaysen, co-founder of Cause of America. This is a vital issue, obviously. How do you react to the report? I'm sure it's only been out there for a few minutes, but if you had a moment to review it, what's your reaction to the vulnerabilities and to really the bombshell nature of this report?
Well, it is a bombshell report. I listened to your intro, and it's absolutely incredible what this report highlights. It's the first time that there has been an official admission to the fact that these machines are vulnerable. Now, what's important to realize is that Dr. Holderman had issued a report, which is still sealed in Georgia, in a courtroom by Judge Totenberg, and Halderman's report basically outlined all of these vulnerabilities. Now, CISA has had an entire year to verify, correct the problems, and to investigate. Now, what's happened within that last year? There have been multiple elections run on these machines that they absolutely knew. They knew they were vulnerable. They knew where the vulnerabilities were. And yet, CISA is lying to the American public.
With this report now being out, what is the next step? How do we get machines out of American elections? Holly Casey, how do we use this knowledge, use this report, make sure it's widely seen, and how do we actually ensure that American elections are safe?
Well, the first thing we need to do is, circulate this information. Everybody needs to know now that this is no longer a conspiracy theory. This is the real deal, and we've been right all along. Secondly, we need to support Mike Lindell through the Lindell Legal Offense Fund. Now, normally I don't pitch this kind of support, but what Lindell's injunction cases are doing is using this information and the Halderman report and a range of other information, including testimonies by experts, and affidavits. I mean, they've got the whole package for the legal cases launched in both Arizona and Alabama, and more states are coming. This needs to get some fire behind it, because with this admission from CISA, this will give a ton of power to these legal cases, and that is a really good angle for us to get rid of the machines. Now, on the ground level, what we need to do is things like defunding the machines through your local county commissioners and budgetary and contractual agreements. And that's what's happened in Colorado and in Nye County, Nevada. That's how these small counties have gone to their local officials and said, look, these machines are vulnerable, here's the proof, now you can cite the CISA report, and you go into them and you say, look, break this contract, these are faulty machines, defund them and get rid of them, and go back to hand count paper ballots on the precinct level.
Yes. Hand count, paper ballots all across the country, absolutely vital. Holly Kaysen, we've got a minute left on this. We're a jam show today. Continue to be tuned in. I'm sure Steve will have you back on here shortly. What is your bottom line message based on this report tonight, based on additional information that's going to come out, including out of Georgia? What is your bottom line message to the American people on how we get our elections back, how we get our country back, and how we fight against the machines.
Okay, so first thing was we've seen a narrative change, and what we're seeing now out of CNN is that they're trying to throw water on the viability of hand count paper ballots on the precinct level. They're telling us it's going back to the horse and buggy age. It's inefficient. We won't be able to count millions of ballots from these major they call them jurisdictions. What that means is they centralize counting. This is a bunch of bull. What we need to do is decentralize the counting, make it back into the precinct level, and counting will be a snap. It's a breeze. We've been doing it for 100 years. France does it, Taiwan does it. There's no excuse that America can't do it. Second of all, get off the couch and go to causeofamerica.org and sign up to get piped into your local election integrity grassroots groups that are working in hyper local fashion to correct the election.